So who's going to be talking with you today? That's Nate, our VP of Strategic Solutions. And then myself, I'm Josephine. I'm the Director of Product Marketing or Marketing here at NovaBACKUP. And we want to give you an early preview of our new agent UI. I'm very, very excited about that. Nate, I'm handing it over to you right now.
Sure. This is the new agent UI that we've been working on. A lot of the functionalities done and set there already. There's some optimization that we're doing, and we're still actively developing on this. The devices, this is just like the devices of the old, I'll call it the old UI, but again, it's only going to be using our new cloud local network storage type devices. So if I go to this, this thing, and you can add devices here, that's pretty simple there. Go here, you can obviously edit the device, delete the device. Backup tab, this is going to look a lot like the management server itself on how the backup tab works, or creating new backup jobs. So you'll be able to obviously browse stuff, go into the SQL server, see the databases. There's this neat little new plugin called Disaster Recovery down here, which we'll go into. Basically, selecting this is going to make the file level backup here disaster recovery compliant, meaning that it's going to grab the boot drive, all the boot disks, and all the boot files, and some other things in the background in order to do new virtual machine, new machine, or the same machine. So you can do disaster recovery compliant backup and also select, hey, I want, these couple files from the D drive also. So it's going to grab, everything it needs to boot up the machine and get the machine running, but you can also add other things that aren't just the, from say the boot drive. So if you need to grab something from like the D drive, or, want to back up SQL or what have you, you can do that. So we're given some options there. Same type of stuff from the management server, backup job creation, which device where you want to go to. I want to go to this guy. Settings. You can do retention and all the other things that you would want to set up. So that is, some of these settings are still being put in, and removing some of the old stuff that is no longer needed, but it's the same basic stuff that is in the management server. Saving the job, saving as a job, normal stuff within the backup tab. The restore, that is. I could say, hey, I want to restore backup job DR test. It's going to show me which particular days that was done. I can choose this guy or that guy, and it's going to come up. Same basic restore view, but it's a lot simpler than I'll say the old UI for restore view. So I can say, hey, I want to go to here and settings. There'll probably be some more settings done in here, but right now it's the simple stuff that you would need. And I can do that, and I'll just start that restore. The activity portion of this is going to be changing quite a bit. Right now it's a per job one, but we'll have all the activity kind of underneath this activity view. One of the things that we've done in the restore itself, this is happening. So this restore setting right here, the maximum concurrent engines and maximum files per bucket. We'll probably change the naming on this a little bit to make it a little bit more user friendly. But what this is doing is, if I'm backing or restoring more than say 40,000 files, it's going to spawn other data mover engines to restore multiple things at the same time. So I can change this to say, hey, I want 10,000 or something like that, and I want to go a max of like 8 of the threads. We're seeing when we're doing disaster recovery testing, specifically from like the cloud, when you have say 1 million files that you're recovering from the cloud, we were seeing instances where if we do multiple engines at the same time, we cut that restore time down significantly. So we built this in automatically into the restore and in the disaster recovery. So it's going to spawn multiple engines so you can do much, much quicker restores, especially when you're talking about, millions of small files and that type of thing. So this is a pretty cool thing that helps the restore speed a lot. So the disaster recovery here is not the image-based disaster recovery of old. This is new disaster recovery that is based off the file level backup that we're doing here, that from that new disaster recovery checkbox. Bootable media, we're having 3 different options here. You can just create an ISO file, go to direct to USB, or we've added the option to add a recovery partition on the local machine, so you can actually boot up to Windows recovery. You'll see the NovaBACKUP icon there. Go into that, bring you into a Windows PE environment that will have a basically a stripped down version of this UI. That'll just allow you to do recovery and import, adding devices, the things that you would need to in order to recover a machine. So that's going to be pretty nice on there. This little button right here, virtual machine, restore backup to a Hyper-V virtual machine. So we can restore directly to a Hyper-V machine. What this will do is this will actually create the Hyper-V machine locally. It will grab all the information from the machine that you backed up. It'll create like the disks, the VHDXs, and everything else for that. And it will basically mount all those VHDXs, restore all the data there, configure the boot disk and UEFI stuff, and actually leave you with a bootable VM of this particular machine that you've backed up. So if I start this restore, it's going to do a couple things on the back end. It's going to create the Hyper-V machine, create the VHDXs, and then you're going to start seeing it actually start doing the restore of the actual data. So this is pretty cool. And it is one of those things where we'll probably iterate on this a little bit more to have it scheduled and some other things. But right now I can recover a physical machine to a Hyper-V machine. I'm on a Windows 11 box. It's already created the VM on my Hyper-V on my Windows 11 box, and after it's done, it will be bootable and I can go into it. So import is really only needed if you it's really needed for the disaster recovery portion when you boot up into that Windows PE environment and there's no devices, no indexes or anything like that. So you add the device, you import that device, and then you'll be able to see the data to recover from. Other things you would need to do the import on is if I'm backing up, if I wanted to recover from a machine's data, a machine's backup that is different than the local machine, that's a good thing for import. In this case, this Win11DR device is actually not backed up on this machine. It's backed up from a different machine that I'm importing for testing. So refreshing the indexes from whatever device I'm backing up to is really what the import is needed for recovery purposes. Something that we've already had, but not a lot of people used, and there was a bunch of limitations on the mount portion of the software. We've reduced and basically eliminated those limitations. So the mount portion of the software in the new UI will be able to mount any backup. It doesn't matter if it has SQL, Hyper-V, data from a UNC path or anything like that. And I kind of want to show a little bit more on this because this is kind of nice. So again, the same type of view here where you can say, okay, what do I want to do? But I want to actually do something that has SQL on it because this is a question that we get a lot of. So I start this mount. Actually, I want to go to where it actually mounted it to. So this is where I mounted it to. This is also where I restored a bunch of stuff. But this mount shows up as a kind of a Symlink type thing, and I can go directly into it. And in here, it'll show you my Z drive that from what I backed up. And I can also go directly into the SQL server that I also backed up. And I can grab, say, whatever database I want to grab out of here. I can just grab the MDF LDF directly. I can even, go in here and open a particular file if I really wanted to see what it is. So I could open up like one of these logs, and this hasn't been restored yet. It's just mounting the backup as a viewable thing. And then as I open, say, this file up, it's going to stream that file to, in this case, Notepad, so it can see that data and you can see that. So you're not changing anything on the backup, but you're able to read stuff directly from the backup without having to do that restore. I think that's the main things I wanted to go through over the new UI. Is there anything that you can think of that I missed, Josephine?
No, I just, if you want to switch over to the UI one more time real quick, just so we can look at that.
Yeah.
To summarize, because you covered a lot of stuff right now.
I did.
Everything now looks the same, right? You have your local UI that has the same look and feel as our central management console, and where you find things in the same way, how you set up the backup, it's all the same. We have a new disaster recovery function, so you can create boot mediums, partitions. You can boot it as a Hyper-V virtual machine. Your disaster recovery, then, when you boot a new system, has a light version of NovaBACKUP that helps you then restore everything during the reinstall, essentially. The restore is a lot faster, right? That's what you talked about, Nate, you can set up multiple engines that restore at the same time. You don't have to wait for certain things to finish before other things start. And visibility of the import function and the mount function, because that was kind of hidden also before. That is way easier to access now. So a lot of things that are happening with the new UI.